It's a brand new season and it gets set to kick off in Thunder Valley. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we get set to kick off a new season of the Beer League. This is, of course, preseason action from Watkins, Glen International. My name is Lola Rampel, alongside Austin Edstrom. We're bringing you all of the action here tonight from start to finish. Austin, it is a brand new season, it's a brand new car, and a brand new format. Let's start by going over that format, shall we? We've had your practice session. Instead of your usual one-car qualifying, though, it's a 20-minute open session. So 40-plus cars are going to be all on the track trying to set a lap simultaneously for 20 minutes. Then it's a sprint race for 15, a little 5-minute break for a 1-hour main event to wrap out the preseason race tonight.
Yeah, I'm honestly just super happy that we have group qualifying. I think it's going to make qualifying a spectacle to watch all season long. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially here at Watkins Glen, a relatively short road course. Now we are running the full layout, so it's the longest version of it we can get. But still, a relatively short road course with these Toyota GR86 running around. I think it's going to be an interesting qualifying session. And then that heat race, the sprint race that we've got where we invert the top 12 afterwards, is going to be a point of excitement all season long.
Let's take a rundown of what the teams are going to be looking like coming on up for this season. Now, there has always been a draft just before this race, and we'll go through all of the teams in detail. To kick things off, Team Diabetics makes its return, headed up by Chris Hannigan, Steve McClendon, Aaron Thacker. Ryan Verholz making his rookie start here this afternoon. Dylan Fisher and Steve Turnbull will be taking up the Diabetics team. Party Animals is headed up by Tyler Carlton. It's got your Season 5 champion Giovanni Romano, along with Bear Morton, Darren Bai, Adam Joseph Mailhot, and Jacob Bailey. And Team IVA, which stands for Idiots Puttering Around, headed up by Blake Gambrill, with Alexander Hammonds, Adam Jackson, Nate Franklin making a rookie start, Kyle Blevins, Jonathan Lefevre, and Austin McColgan. That is your first three teams. And Austin, why don't we let you take through these next three teams that we've got lined up for us?
All right, that sounds good to me. We got the Snack Attack rolling up, looking to eat up everybody else. Ron Wolf, Tyler Augustino, Brooks Clayton, Mac Verstupin, Alex Harrison, and Ethan Condi, all on Team Snack Attack. And then Team Flying Donut, Evan Campbell, John Combs, Shane Cameron, Tyler Viet, and Chris Bright, and Chase Ellis. Wow, I got all of the food ones, didn't I? The ice creamers right after that. Austin
really
Tucker,
did.
Ryan LeBlanc, Todd Madole, Jason Lee, Matthew Dupuis, and Jacob Noyes. Round out the ice creamers team. That's interesting. We got I like Team IPA. I think that fits the beer league the absolute most.
And then, of course, you've got my personal favorite team name, the Acceleracers, headed up by Morgan Otto. It's got Eric Ronenberg, Alexander Bueller, and Klein, Adam Klein, and Tanner Klein as well. And, well, Morgan was saying he's hoping that the Klein family feud does not boil over on his team. But we'll see how that's going to pan out. Alex Crawford, your defending champion, has named his team the Dumpster Fire. He has got himself, along with Josh Free, Chris Flams, Jordan Babcock, Michael Derby, and Aaron Ziemer. And then Fools Running will take up the last official team on the grid. It's got Jeremy Castro, Ryan Clanton, Justin Hall, Corey Barrett, Stephen Purcell making his rookie debut tonight, and Ryan Murphy. And then, of course, everyone else that is not on one of those teams is in the Misfits, because they're not certain they're going to be able to make it to the what could be the to all of the races here this season. But that's all your teams lined up for the season, and qualifying is underway. We're still waiting for those first times to find themselves coming on in.
Yeah, I believe Crawford was one of the first couple out. There's actually a couple in front of him. Darren Bai coming around the final corner right now. I'm not sure if he has already done his out lap, though. But this is what you don't want to see if you're a couple of those guys that we were just looking at. Three people all stacked up on top of each other coming through the boot. You want to find yourself a little bit of clean air. Darren Bai was actually just starting his lap, so my mistake on that. Crawford might be the first one to come through to lay down a lap, give us a benchmark, figure out exactly what we're looking for here.
There's a lot of cars all on the racetrack right now. And remember, this is one of those tracks where you got to be careful. If you even get so much as an off-track 1X, it will invalidate your entire lap, and you have to go all the way around. Graham Jordan working his way around. I believe it might be Jordan who could actually be putting down our first benchmark time, as Crawford looks like he was also putting himself down. We have not gotten a single time on the board yet, and we are already 5 minutes into a 20-minute session. So these guys are using up quite a bit of their time here relatively quickly. And we'll see here if we'll get this number 14 car across the line for our benchmark time. And it will be Chris Hannigan that puts down the benchmark time at 206.61. Thacker is second, Flams third, Brooker fourth, Jordan fifth, and Franklin brings it up in that number 5 position. So we'll see how this one's going to pan out. Still a lot of times yet to be set here in this session.
Yeah, and I think I might have made a mistake saying what I did about this group of 3 right here coming through the boot. I think I'm just kind of running off my mind off of the late model stocks from last season, where the dirty air was more detrimental than the draft was, or than the draft could help you down the straightaways. Here in the Toyota GR86s, I think being grouped up like this might actually be better for qualifying, so I might have to retract what I had said just a few moments ago, because I think that the long draft down to S's, and then coming out of the carousel, I guess coming out of the carousel, not too bad,
Austin,
but coming out of turn 1, long draft.
This is a terrifying sight that we got on screen right now.
Whose face is that?
That is Austin's. On both the front and the back. He's got beans coming out of the back of that car.
Oh
and
my.
You remember that spinny wheel joke
Wait,
that I was telling you about?
That's me? What the hell?
Is that really you?
Is that not my picture from your website?
No, I could have sworn it was Austin.
I thought the back
It
bumper,
is yours.
the back
That is
bumper
you.
looks like me. Who is this? Who is this?
That is you. Yeah, I recognize
Who is that
it.
car?
Look at
Who is that car?
That's Austin
I don't
Tucker.
Oh my word!
But
What the heck, Austin?
You remember the spinny wheel joke that I told you about from this last season? Well, look what's decked out all over that car as well. All those spinny wheel emails. So that car is designed specifically to get a rise out of me. And it
So
is
you're
succeeding.
the front bumper and I'm the rear bumper.
I'm not even the front bumper, I don't think. I don't think I'm the front bumper.
I
can't
think that's your
tell.
picture off of Green Flag TV, buddy. He's made that.
Oh my
That's
God,
your
it is.
That's your face. That's your face on the front bumper. I'm on the back and you're on the front.
This is too good. I mean, this is how you know Beer League is back, right? We're getting into this action all sorts of early on, but still... I'm not even going to say anything. We're in the midst of qualifying. 14 cars have put down times. There's a lot more yet that have yet to be set. Obviously, a lot of these paint schemes are not going to be seen too much after this one race. A lot of these teams do prefer to take their own little team paint schemes and have those with all of these drivers. I'm sure those will be up in full force by the season opener 1 week from now. But hey, it's good to kind of see the uniqueness right now.
I just can't stop looking at Austin Tucker's back bumper. I'm sorry.
It's beautiful.
I'm losing my mind that he has decked this thing out into spinny wheels, and then he's got beans on the back for me. I'm just losing my mind.
So,
this is amazing.
I want to point something out here. It was a bit of a question mark as to whether this race was going to be a wet race or a dry race. I know there was... Oh, well, a big crash there in the midst of qualifying. I'm sure one car just got demolished. But you're watching Morganato right now. He is actually on wet tires right now, working around the racetrack. Everyone else is on dries.
Huh. That's a weird strategy play.
I mean, we haven't seen what his
be
first
working out
lap's
for
going
him.
to be, though. So, to be
It's
fair,
got to be seconds off the pace, right? I mean, it's got to be.
It might be because he just got collected up at the bus stop chicane, though, right? I mean, in fact, I don't think this lap might even count because he got hit in that wreck, didn't he? That would be, well, it's definitely not going to count now. It's just going to find the wall. So we'll find out how that one's going to pan out now. But over 20 cars have put down time, so we'll pull up the second part of our ticker, running up along the top side of the screen. A bit of a difference in the color scheme. They wanted to make the colors more beer-themed. So right now, the yellow are highlighting your pro drivers in this field on both top and vertical tickers. You can see a few times being put down. Right now, it's looking to be about a 7-second spread from 1st to 28th.
I love seeing that Green Flag TV car come around. See, we should have had a Green Flag TV team, and they could have put everybody.
You know,
could have put everybody on.
You laugh. I actually suggested that for next season they should let us draft a team, or even we both get to draft a team and then race against each other. I mean, that'd be fun.
That would give us a little added incentive to kind of cheer on a couple guys.
we would obviously be show blatant favoritism to our own team.
Yes, of course.
We would lead fully into the stereotype.
And I would talk a lot of crap.
Oh, of course we would. I mean, why wouldn't we?
Unless I lost, then, well.
Oh my God,
there's two of them! There's 2 of them!
So that's Augustino, and that's Brooks Clayton.
There's
They're
3
all
of them!
running the same car. Oh no. I wonder how long it took them to make this, because it looks like they didn't take... What is that behind?
What is that?
Oh,
Who is that?
I think that car behind, I can't quite tell, but there's a lot.
This is going to be so confusing today.
There's a lot that's happening on the track right now. We're halfway through qualifying. The other thing that's interesting to know, I don't believe qualifying will end on the checkered flag. I think with open qualifying, I'm not sure if it works the same way with the heat racing format, but I do believe it will give them time to finish up their qualifying laps as well.
Hey, that's what the exhibition race is for at the beginning of the season, right? So we can figure out all of the ins and outs, kind of get our feet wet for the actual season starting next week. So I'm kind of, to your point, I'm not really too sure, but I'm looking forward to see. I feel like it would just end it at the checkered flag. I mean, you got 20 minutes to lay down a heater.
Well, usually in an open qualifying session, when the checker flag falls, you are allowed to finish your lap, and then it'll accelerate forward once everybody on track is either coming to pit road or finished up their lap. I just don't know if it works the same way with the heat racing format, because I do know there is a difference in the qualifying for that.
It is going to be so hard to differentiate these green flag TV cars.
Oh, it will.
I don't know if that's going to be their permanent paint scheme throughout the year. We might need to ask them to do some little differences like they do on the F1 cars, where you got the little yellow beam at the top, right? The little hook where they get the crane on it. Put like maybe a little different color. This is going to be a tough one today.
Adam Ziemer has yet to put down a qualifying lap. He is on his second attempt in the number 39 Mobil 1 machine, working his way up and around the racetrack right now. Same story for Morgan Otto on those wet weather tires. He has still not put down a successful qualifying lap. Ron Wolf will go to 9th, and Derbyshov, Mikhail, making his first start. I'm 99% sure that is not his real name, and we'll try to get that real name.
Mikhail Derbyshov.
I'm 99% sure that is not a real name.
Who's that supposed to be?
I'm pretty sure that's a play on Mikhail Gorbachev. Please tell me you know who that is.
I don't.
That is the last
It's
leader
probably
of the
Michael Derby.
No, it was the... oh, you're actually right, you know?
Yeah, it's Michael Derby.
Good catch, but you don't know who Gorbachev is?
No.
The last leader of the Soviet Union that oversaw its collapse?
Oh, Mr. Gorbachev,
yeah.
Tear down this wall. Yeah.
Alexander Clank going to the point by 2/10 sawballs over Chris Hannigan. So Clank putting down a heater here.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit quicker than... Actually, it's a little bit slower than a couple of the guys that we saw in practice. So not the fastest lap time that we've seen on the night, about 2/10 off, but easily the fastest that we've seen in the qualifying session. Chris Hannigan, his was fast lap number 1, and nobody else had been able to beat him until Alexander Clank there. So track seems to have slowed down just a little bit since practice.
Yeah, track seems to have slowed up just a little bit since that practice session. Otto still has not been able to put down I'm really curious to see what these weather tires will be able to do. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But we have still not seen him being able to put a full lap down, as he got a couple cars that go spinning off in the background. Jason Lee, or I think Nate Franklin, going up to 13th in the 240 machine.
Oh, your face just went hard into the outside fence coming out of the, or before the penultimate corner.
Not a word. That's not a statement I ever expected to hear in all my years.
I think that for this race, since they're all running the same car, it's going to be hard for us to differentiate. If they nose it into something, we're saying Nolan hit something. And if they back it into something, then I did. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to differentiate the entire time other than that.
I mean, that's if you can differentiate.
Nolan's face hard into the barrier. You know, I don't...
What if there's 2 of them wrecking at the same time?
Well, what if it's your face going into my face?
We're not going to talk about that. Morgan Otto trying to come across the line. Will this finally be a lap that counts? It will, and it is only good enough for 39th, and that is 2.7 seconds off of 38th place, let alone off the leader, who is off by 8.4 seconds. So a little slower.
I like the testing though, right? You're getting an idea of what could happen, I suppose. I mean, the rain stuff is all new, so everybody just kind of doing a little bit of testing to figure out exactly what's going on. Now, obviously, in real life, the wet weather tires would obviously be way slower, but you never know in iRacing. Every now and again, you get an exploit or a glitch that pops up that you know does not make any sense, and obviously that wouldn't here today. But Morganado giving it a try just to see. I don't blame him for that at all, and he's probably got enough time to put on some dry tires and at least lay down one good lap.
Shane Cameron in the 74 machine, the very blue Toyota GR86, working across the start-finish line. Has made 2 attempts at putting down a lap. This is attempt number 3. Across the stripe. And not going to count. So Cameron's still trying to get one. He doesn't have long to do it. Only 5 minutes. That's enough for maybe 2 laps. Meanwhile, Nate Franklin goes 5th fastest on the boards. A lot of pro drivers up there in the top 10. You got, I believe that is right now 7 out of the 12 pro drivers in this field that are up there now and near the point.
Still 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the qualifying. Still plenty of time for a couple of these guys to try to lay down a fast lap. I'm just kind of really paying attention to the lap time differences from practice to qualifying. In practice, we had 6 people lay down a lap in the 2:06s. Here in qualifying, about the same, even though they are just a little bit off the pace from practice. And we had a load of cars in the 2:07s in practice, and we actually have more in the 2:07s in qualifying. So I think people are starting to figure it out, starting to pick up the pace just a little bit, start to learn the track, and coming up to that heat race, we'll finally be able to figure out who can run through traffic the best in these Toyotas. I'm excited to get this season started with a different race car that's meant for the road course racing. It was cool doing something different with the late model stock last season, but as a lot of guys in the league talked about, it was super, super difficult to pass. The draft was just not big enough. Here this season, I don't think we're going to have any problems with that.
Tyler Agostino might be a threat tonight because he was in the thick of a huge pack there, and even though he was swamped in all that traffic, he still went 8th quickest on the boards. So Agostino could very well be a driver that we could see contending for a win here this afternoon. Very curious to see how this is all going to pan out. And of course, it's going to be all 40-plus cars that are going to be making starts in the sprint race and the main race as well. No heats anymore to get us started up, so it's going to be really curious to see how this is all going to pan on out. We have had a few drivers join the session since we started qualifying. The total number is up to 47 now. Shane Cameron once again out of the final corner, trying to come across the start-finish line. The other important thing to note here, remember how last season, Austin, they had it so a caution could come out anywhere between 5 minutes into the race and 10 minutes from the end? Now, yep. I believe they changed it to 10 minutes in and 15 minutes from the end. So that narrow's shrunk a little bit.
And I like that a lot because not necessarily on the front end. I don't really care about the change on the front end too much. I don't think it's going to change too much. But the one on the back end I think is very, very important. Changing it to 15 minutes. It just gives us the opportunity for a decent green flag run to the finish, because if that caution came really, really late, right up to the window, we could be looking at 4 minutes of green flag racing to the finish. And to be honest, that's just not quite long enough. You never know how the strategies are. And I think that having a longer run at the end of each session, each main event session, can allow some of these guys' strategies to play a little bit more of a factor into the ending of this race if the caution does fly towards the end.
Under 2 minutes to go, so by now if you're starting the lap, it will be your last chance to get a lap in. So for drivers like Tyler Agostino, they got to go, 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 go. Agostino did put down a quick lap this last time by. Now that he's had some clean air, we'll see if it'll be any different. Crosses the line. And no improvement. Interesting. So Agostino starting his final trip around. We'll see what he'll be able to do in his number 69 machine. Time gonna very quickly tick away here as we continue to close in towards the start of this race. Now we'll see if these guys are going to be able to complete their laps here.
Kind of what we've been waiting for here the last little while, just to kind of figure out how the ending of these sessions are gonna go. And I gotta point out, these guys have made it really difficult on us. These paint schemes are across teams too. It's not even all one team. It is across a bunch of different teams. So I have no idea. I was hoping that was just one of the team paints and we could just call it the team car, but it's gonna be tough tonight.
You know there was some recruiting going on there behind the scenes for that.
Oh man, I gotta figure out whose idea that was.
Probably Tyler's. That seems like a Tyler Augustino idea.
Well, we're coming up to the last 20 seconds here, so we should be able to figure out exactly how much time these guys get added on, whether they can finish that lap or not.
I guess the one thing to keep in mind as well, there are open setups now for this series, but that said, the GR86s don't have too much in the way of setup options that you can change. They only really did it so you can alter some of the springs and make it a little bit easier to drive. Checkered flag, they do not get to finish their laps. That's going to be big for the later portions of the season, but with all of that said and done, qualifying is wrapped up. Let's take a rundown of your starting grid for the 15-minute sprint race as we get set to kick off another season of the Beer League. Started on the pole, it is Alexander Klang alongside Chris Hannigan. Eric Ronenberg is in third with Austin Tucker in fourth. Nate Franklin is going to be in that number 5 spot. And you got Michael Derby starting in 6th. 7th place holds Brooks Clayton with Tyler Augustino in 8th, Alice Carver 9th, Aaron Thacker in 10th. From there, it's Chris Bright, Steve McClendon, Matthew Dupuis, Ron Wolf, Tyler Carlton, Jason Lee, Nate Brooker, Chris Flams, Mac Verstappen, Shane Cameron, Brian LeBlanc, Corey Barrett, Josh Free, Jacob Noyes, Sean Bradley, Kyle Smith, Justin Hall, Tom Madole, Graham Jordan, Darren Bai, Jeremy Castro, Blake Gambrill, Greg Beckman, Ryan Verhulst, Alex Harrison, Rodney Flores, Ethan Condi, Steve Turnbull, Stephen Purcell, Aaron Ziemer, Robert Kulikowski, Morgan Otto, and still going on, Giovanni Romano, Adam Jackson, Austin McCall, Jordan Babcock, Adam Klein brings up your 47-car sprint race.
And you're going to have to do that twice every week now. This will be fun. I can't wait.
Oh, boy. Well, that's it.
Yeah, take a breath. Take a breath.
I need to.
We still got a couple people waiting to grid, so you got a little bit of time. A little bit of time up here for you.
That is a sight, though, isn't it? Standing starts are going to be wild this season, especially on a wet race in these cars.
Well, and the run up down to turn 1 here this year, or at Watkins Glen, that's a really, really short run up. Not a lot of time for these guys to get separated, and it's a 90-degree corner. So I'm worried about turn 1 tonight. And typically, we have to wait through the heat races to really get to the chaos. But now we have 2 races with all 40-plus drivers, 47 tonight on the racetrack. So we've got double the mayhem here.
It really is interesting, right? I mean, you got a lot of the mayhem, but all the same action. Well, that's said and done. We are ready to kick this show off. The Revs build. We are underway for Beer League competition in the preseason race. Trying to fire off in that massive run down to the opening corner. 47 cars taking the green flag as this pack thunders down into the opening corner. Does everybody make it through clean and green? This is going to be that big ticket question. Are we going to see anybody going around? We sure do. 1 car spins around. They'll spin to the inside. Massive check of 4, 5 wide in the approach down to the S's. We're able to make it through. And how about that? A clean run. As I say that, 1 car hard to the wall. That's going to stack them up in the S's. 5, 6, 7 piling up as they go up the hill.
Oh, we didn't have to wait too long to see Nolan's face go hard into the outside wall. Not quite sure who it was, but there's another one up front. Fight for that second place position. It's all getting hairy up front. Chris Hannigan just about lost it in turn 1. A couple people cutting the S's. I mean, it's just mayhem all the way through the S's. The bus stop is just not the place to be right now with 4, 5, 6 cars all under a blanket going through. Oh, another spinner down on the inside. That's the 22 going hard on the inside.
That is Darren Bai that just went around. Whoa, we got another big pile of exited the carousel. More trouble. And cars stopped in the middle of the track. Cars scrambling left, right, front, and center. I think that's Hannigan. No, that's Dupuis that is stopped sideways. He'll back it up, but a big hit for Dupuis into the wall.
Oh my goodness. Like I said, double the mayhem. We kind of get a little bit of a, an idea of what's going to happen for the main event. I mean, my God, what in the world is going on with that 703 Dupuis breakdancing there coming out of the carousel?
They were already wrecking at the outside wall before, and I think that was Chris Hannigan that had jumped up into the outside fence here. Oh yeah, holy cow! That is a violent hit for Hannigan and more.
And Hannigan had a really good start. He actually jumped to the lead from the second place position. Just about lost it coming out of turn 1, dropped back to 5th. And then ever since the bus stop, it's just kind of been going from bad to worse for Chris Hannigan. And you really want to finish in those top 12 positions. Give yourself an opportunity for that main event to benefit from that invert. So Hannigan falling all the way back outside the top 12, outside the top 20. That's going to hurt for him.
A lot of 3 wide action. Ronenberg leads the way for Latin one at the stripe. They were 3 wide in the mad dash down to turn 1. And remember, the top 12 do get inverted here, as that is Augustino, Clayton, Thacker, and more, all under a blanket in the massive run. First up into turn 1, and then beyond as we fire back up the hill. I'm never going to get a chance to look back at that opening lap, honestly, because we do not have the possibility for a caution here in the sprint races to calm things down. 3 wide again, up the hill, and oh, another big hit! Tom Madole hard into the wall, as is Morganato, and they're still crashing up and over the rise. That is the worst spot to be stopped. We got one up and over, down in the middle of the straight. That's Chris Flams.
Oh my word, it's just not done. Oh my word!
Holy.
Classic Beer League! Team huge ass in huge air through the S's. This is unbelievable!
This is exactly what I was hoping was going to happen tonight. And you know that's going to happen in the main event. You know it's going to happen.
Oh my goodness, it's like a mini Mount Panorama up the S's at Watkins Glen.
Oh, they're still coming in behind. They're still coming in.
Oh no. Why does the field not run out of cars yet? Oh my gosh.
This is all the guys that were caught up in the first wreck that are now getting involved. We'll try to get a better look back at Flams here in particular, because my God.
I don't know if I've ever seen a car wreck that long.
I sure have, and I have to keep going back because it keeps saying crash, 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 crash. Chris Flams came flying up on the scene unsighted. He got punted into the outside wall. Right here is where it gets absolutely big. He gets kicked up into the air once, then twice, then 3.
Oh this is unreal. Is this the kind of racing we're going to see in these cars all year long? Oh my goodness.
Yes, it is.
Or the kind of crashing, I should say. Oh,
well, that
my word.
That's broken up a good chunk of the field, and the ambulance has carted away what was left of Chris Flams up from turn 3.
I'm sorry, that killed me. You could never say that about a real life race, and that's just
of course
true.
not.
Holy cow, that has me crying.
Clank and Derby side by side for the number 2 spot as Michael Derby gets around Alexander Clank for second. As they go up and over the rise. That has broken up pretty much the entire pack. I'm at a loss. I've never seen a wreck like that before.
Wait, caution window? Do we have a caution window in the sprint?
Well, I would hope not, because remember, you can't have a caution window within 15 minutes to go, and it's only a 15-minute race. So I'd be very impressed if they managed to find a way, but I mean, we got 3 yellows last season, but there's only supposed to be a possibility of 2, so.
Well, we're supposed to wait until 10 minutes into the race, too. It's only been 5 minutes. So maybe the heat has a different rule, or
maybe somebody's bot wasn't calibrated correctly.
Well, we saw that happen last year. We got 3 cautions. Oh, I got 3 cautions in a race. Nolan, you took him out. Is that Hannigan getting turned around? Oh, good save.
Looks like it. Yeah, that was the Jelly Belly machine. I got punted around. I'm going to take one more look back at this one from the air this time.
Yes.
3 wide, and this is going to be the absolutely perfect angle to observe all of the carnage. It started so innocuous. And then it just got so out of control so quickly. Look at the roadblock already up the road. These drivers have no idea what they're in for.
Well, I hate to discredit what you just said, but I think that these guys knew exactly what they were going for. They don't have the damage turned on, and most of them don't care to live.
You know what? Credit, there was one driver there, I think that was the 74 of Shane Kammer, that absolutely blitzed through there. I mean, more power to them.
They're all going to try to do it. They're all going to try to do it because they don't care about the damage. It just gets fixed after a couple seconds. So it's not too surprising. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be a heck of an onboard.
He blitzed through on the grass to boot to get around this mess. So riding on board, he comes up over the hill, sees this, barely lifts, and just found the one opening to fire through, and he made up about 15 spots because, good Lord!
Oh my goodness, you're not going to see a bigger wreck into the final corner at Watkins, Glen, or a bigger hit. Holy cow, Chris Hannigan.
We have an hour to go of main event action. Don't test
Good
them.
point.
They will find a way.
Dude, but getting turned into that barrier to the right. Oh my word.
Lord.
Oh, and your face ain't so pretty after that one.
It'll get there. It'll get back. Just give it.
Let's see. Oh
go.
yeah, it's nice and pretty again.
In all of its glory. But
No,
again,
not Doge.
Alex Harrison spins it around into the wall.
That better not be. That better not.
Monday 19th.
I'm worried about the Doge car crashing. That kind of makes me think my stocks are going to crash. I think it's going to be a bad omen for me. I got a little bit of Doge, just in case. You never know. And Shiba Inu. I got some of that too. Shiba Inu to the moon.
7.5 minutes to go. We are halfway through this sprint race. Clayton and Tucker battling for fourth, up and over the rise in the middle of the boot section. And a minute toward more contact there between the two. And looking like Clayton leaning on the door of Tucker as they dive down in towards the corner at the bottom of the hill. And now they'll go through the valley and back up the road. These cars are very, very unstable in the corners. That's been one thing that I know has been a big complaint about these cars, even for this field, right? The fact about how unstable they are, they're not really all that planted. So it does.
That makes for good racing. That makes for the possibility for passing, the possibility for mistakes, and I think we're going to see a higher pass number than what we saw in the season last year with the late models. Absolutely. I mean, it's tough to completely quantify it because it is a lot of wrecking, so a lot of the passing numbers are from passing 20 cars on the first lap because of a wreck. But I think the legitimate passing that we see on the speedway is going to be up year over year from last season.
Around the outside goes Clayton, picks off the spot from Tucker. He's up to fourth, and in fact, Tucker going to lose out to Thacker as well. As Thacker punches his ticket up in a fifth, and he is sworn by the broadcasters as you got Steve McClendon out in the fray as well. You better go. We're coming for you. Thacker
I hope they don't all get together.
Thacker seeing if he can try to fend off both lines at once. And look at that. They're tandeming down the back chute at the Glen.
Yeah, that's your face all up into my face down the back straightaway into the bus stop. Oh, late on the brakes, all three of them down into the bus stop side by side. Able to get through there nice and clean, but that was a great move from Thacker to get past all of them up the S's. Had a great run down the straightaway and able to pick off all those green flag TV cars.
Could you imagine a race at the Daytona course with these cars?
I want every single person in the field to drive this car.
I feel like they should just rotate between this and the Miata. Honestly, I would love nothing more. That's the thing, right? I mean, club racing, it's not the fastest or the most glamorous, but it is, by and large, the most entertaining form of racing you can get.
Yeah, I'd have to probably agree with you. I mean, watching the Miatas, the MX-5s go around Martinsville is hilarious. I mean, it is so funny. And they put on good races everywhere. I mean, anytime I jump into the road course stuff, I like going into the MX-5s, man. They're the most fun things to race. You get a heavy draft, and I feel like these Toyotas are going to be pretty similar this season. And like I said, I think that's why we're going to see so much passing.
Taking a look back at Barrett and Smith, they're scrapping for 11th and 12th. Ryan Verhulst making his rookie start is in the mix. Whoa! A tank slapper and a half for Smith, and what a good job to snap correct that car as he came around back onto the main layout of the racetrack. For the most part, battles starting to break up, and a lot of this has to do with the tandem drafting that we're seeing down these longer straightaways.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something we see all year long at the tracks with the long straightaways, and we're seeing it down the front stretch, and we're seeing it up the S's. Oh, if we roll Monza, holy cow!
I need to find out what it would take to ride these guys so we can get one of our picks off the schedule. Honestly,
broadcast pick. I like it.
Should be the season finale.
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know if I want that much power.
Maybe the opener.
Oh man, what would we pick?
For these cars,
Irwindale figure 8.
Well, I don't think that's an option. Well,
Could you imagine that with 47?
No, you physically can't. I know because I tried it with AI. It crashes the game.
LA Coliseum.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking either an insanely tight track or a track with a lot of long straights so we could really abuse that tandem drafting.
I feel like this car's going to do great on a wide variety of racetracks. Like, I honestly just think we're going to be on for a good show just about every single week here in the beer league. Like I mentioned last season with the late model stock, it was just really, really hard for these guys to pass, and the bumpers didn't line up good. So if you did get into the back of somebody, you're wedging them and spinning them out guaranteed. Here in these, you can make a little bit of contact front bumper to rear bumper and not really have to worry about it too much. You just can't obliterate the guy in front of you. So I really think we're going to get some great racing, and we've been seeing it so far, even up front. Eric Runenberg has not been able to pull away from these guys. Mikhail Derbyshov, God bless, Michael Derby, and Alexander Klank are all just under a blanket here for this first place position with 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Should be 2 laps to go at the line this time. They've been running 2 laps to go. They've been running 206s, 207s, and they crossed the line there with about 208. So we should see 2 more laps this time by, and it's tight between these top 3.
You reckon Derby and Klank will mount a charge on Runenberg here?
I mean, if Derby drags the brake a little bit, and that is so weird to say at a freaking road course. I want Michael Derby to drag the brake at a road course to get his teammate up to his back bumper here. But it would work. I mean, they would be flying. And to my point, they're still flying, even without doing the tandem drafting. All up in the draft to Eric Runenberg, down the straightaway, out of the S's. They are closing fast on the race lead.
Got a battle on as well between Castro, McColgan, Gambrel, and Madole. This is for 28th on back, as the pack still very much bunched up line to start. And also up the road, Thacker overtaking Austin Tucker and nearly taking Brooks Clayton with him, as this field sending itself up and around to boot. As this race, it's getting there. And it's going to be 2 laps to go as well for this pack, as well as way to the inside. We'll go Augustino. He'll pick off Tyler Carlton and put Augustino up now to the 7th spot. And right now, Klank and Derby losing time up to Runenberg, who's now built a 1.3 second gap.
Yeah, they ended up fighting each other coming through the carousel. Derby did not have a good bus stop, and Alexander Klank passed on him. So the 2 team Hugh Jass cars are that's gonna be tough to say all year. I'm
pretty sure those teams are gonna change as well.
Okay, that's what I figured. I was like, I don't remember seeing that team name in the in the pre-race, but that's what I'm seeing on the side of the cars right now. But Klank seems to be pretty quick. He's got 1 lap to go to try to run up on the back bumper of Eric Runenberg here. As we see the 8 turn around coming into the boot section.
Jason Lee in the DuPont machine, spinning around just all by himself, goes for a lazy slide all the way down and stops on the apex of the corner. Did a good job to get that car rolled forward, so he wasn't too much in the way. And Runenberg has taken the white flag, so 1 lap to go in the sprint race tonight. I don't think they're going to get there. I mean, he's pulled that gap out, and the best opportunity was down that straight. It's out of the question now.
Yeah, Klank and Derby fighting each other back there just ended up being a little bit too much. I think it dropped Klank off the back bumper of Runenberg. A little bit too far here down the S's section. Klank is a little ways out of the draft. Maybe getting a little tug down the back straightaway, but not enough. He needed to be half a second closer to really give himself a shot. So I do think he's going to be a little bit too far back, but the battle for 4th is pretty hot. Brooks Clayton, Austin Tucker, Aaron Thacker all under a blanket, and a couple guys behind him as well. Thacker trying to look to the inside of Austin Tucker, but Tucker fading to the inside, back to the outside before they get to the bus stop. Still single file train down into the inner loop. No problems from anybody through there. Kind of tough to do whenever you're stuck under somebody's back bumper, but Aaron Thacker dives it down into the carousel, trying to get that spot from Tucker.
No problems yet. Emphasis on yet.
Disclaimer, mega asterisk coming through the boot section. There could definitely be a little bit of RG-bargy here coming through the boot. Oh, Thacker pretty wide, just about gets into the grass.
Whoa!
Coming off.
Bit of contact.
Still fighting with Augustino here through the right, honestly, pretty long right-hander, 180-degree corner. Doesn't really feel like a hairpin, though. You're carrying a good bit of speed through there, really wrapping it around or ripping it around that corner. The 0-0 off, I believe that's in the inner loop, Sean Bradley. Battle for first, though. Klank is catching him, but I don't think he's got enough time.
0.6 of a second. We'll see if Runenberg goes for the Hail Mary and just bails out into the final couple of corners here. He's working down through the penultimate turn. I almost said turn 6. As through the final corner, no dramas. Eric Ronenberg, your winner of the preseason sprint race at Watkins Glen International. He will start from 12th in the main event. Carlton, Thacker, McClendon, they'll be looking to start in the top half of the top 12 inverts as they'll come across the line in 6th, 7th, and 8th respectively.
And crucially, there's not really a fight for 12th. It looks like it's just going to be Kyle Smith finishing in the 12th place position, starting on pole for the main event here in a couple minutes.
Whoa, a big tank slapper. We're 3 wide for about 20th on back as they come back out onto the main layout from the boot section. That's the block. Bradley getting turned. Sorry, Greg Beckman getting turned, and he's going to get drilled by Jason Lee. Collects Blake Gambrell and more. More cars going around. Big pile of at the top of the hill.
Oh, my.
As they get themselves sorted.
You need to definitely watch somebody whenever they cross the line going down to turn number 1. It's classic beer league down there, but with 40 drivers into the turn 1 wall at Watkins Glen. It's bigger than I've ever seen.
I'm sure we'll get it eventually. I can already see the smoke up there. So we'll keep on with these drivers here as they look to make these lunges up and around. Taking the final few spots. That was 4 on-track battles for position. And oh boy, already got somebody around a pirouette. And here we go. Let's join the party. Holy cow. Yeah, that's beer league. That is, yep, that is peak beer league.
That's how I finish all of my qualifying laps here in the Cup cars. But they do a backwards front flip, the NASCAR cars, whenever you hit that wall. It is insane.
Still waiting on the last few cars to come across the line. There goes somebody else punting somebody over the wall. I think that was the Waffle House machine that got kicked over. Verstappen just crossed the line in 39th.
How much better was that than the heat races that we've had?
I
like
much better.
That was awesome, man. The 15-minute sprint, a great
physics.
great change here, the beer league. That was fantastic.
Well, results will be up on your screen for the sprint race here this afternoon as we'll go through everything in its entirety. Ronenberg, Clegg, Derby, Clayton, Tucker, Augustino, Carlton, Thacker, McClendon, Hall, Barrett, Smith, and Verhulst. They will be the top 12 invert as we will go into a bit of a 5-minute warm-up session. Austin, you got the rest of the top 20.
Of course I do. The 11th place finisher, Corey Barrett. 12th, Kyle Smith, going to be starting on the pole. 13th, Ryan Bellhurst. 14th, Nate Franklin. 15th, Chris Hannigan. Shane Cameron comes home in 16th with Nate Brooker, Ron Wolf, Graham Jordan, and Brian LeBlanc rounding out the top 20.
21st place holds Sean Bradley with Jordan Babcock, Stephen Brissell, Jeremy Castro, Tom Adole, Blake Gambrell, Jason Lee, Chris Bright, Greg Beckman, and Josh Freed to round out the top 30.
And then in the 31st place spot, Alex Harrison, Steve Turnbull in 32nd, Morgan Otto, Chris Flams, Rodney Flores rounds out the top 35, Austin McColgan, Adam Glen, Ethan Condi, Mac Versteuben, and Robert Kulowski finishes in 40th.
Darren By, Adam Jackson, Jacob Noyes, Matthew Dupuis, Crawford, Zemer, and Romano will bring up the tail of the field. So that is it then. All 47 cars cross the line to wrap out sprint race number 1 of the season. We'll take ourselves a quick step back, and we'll be back with more from the Beer League in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Beer League, where we are about 30 seconds away from getting main event action kicked off. It is going to be a ride. 1 hour about to kick off. We saw some monumental accidents in the sprint race. No rain, I believe, on the radar. So, Austin, your thoughts here before we get set to go green?
I can't wait, man. I'm excited to get this season kicked off. I know this is just the exhibition. We're really just figuring things out this week, but Watkins Glen is such a fun track, and these guys are going to come through here and put on a good show for us. We saw it in the sprint race. I think we're going to see more crashing in the main event through the S's, especially on this start. I would be surprised if we didn't see at least one more massive pile up. And I do think turn one's going to be a little bit scarier than we saw it in the heat race as well. 47 guys going down to that 90-degree corner. It's a recipe for disaster.
Well, here we go. Main event action about to kick off. So let's take a rundown of what your starting grid will look like. Once again, 47 cars will take off from the Watkins Glen International Circuit. Kyle Smith finished 12th place in the in the sprint race. He starts on the pole. Corey Barrett at second. Justin Hall third. McClinton fourth. Thacker fifth. Carlton at sixth. Tyler Arcino is 7th, Austin Tucker is 8th, Brooks Clayton and Michael Derby round out the top 10. Alexander Kling, sprint race winner, Eric Ronenberg starts in 12th. Ryan Verhul starts in 13th with Nate Franklin in 14th, Chris Hannigan 15th, Shane Cameron 16th, Nate Brooker 17th, Ron Wolf in 18th, rounded out the top 20. You got Graham Jordan and Brian LeBlanc. Then it's Sean Bradley, Jordan Babcock, Stephen Purcell, Jeremy Castro, Tom Madola, Blake Gambrell, Jason Lee, Chris Bright, Greg Beckman, Josh Freed, Alex Harrison, Steve Turnbull, Morgan Otto, Chris Flams, Rodney Flores, Austin McColgan, Adam Klein, Ethan Condi, Mac Verstuben, Robert Kulikowski, Darren Bai, Adam Jackson, Jacob Noyes, Matthew Dupuis, Alex Covert, Aaron Ziemer. Romano brings up the rear.
Wow, twice in one night. I mean, goodness gracious, what a trooper you are.
That's how I get laryngitis.
I was expecting it to get thrown over to me this time, but hey.
Nope.
Look at how far back this field is wrapped around, man. Oh, I mean, our Giovanni Romano is starting in 47th. He's in the final corner, and this is a long straightaway. He's on the apex of the last corner. So 47 drivers here in the Toyota GR86 funneling down into turn 1 at the Watkins Glen International Speedway. I mean, where's the wreck going to start from? Because I don't think it's a matter of if we get a wreck. It's a matter of when.
It's always a matter. It's the beer league. It's always a matter of when.
Good point.
If we don't get a wreck before the inner loop, I'm gonna eat my shorts.
I'll give everybody in this race $1.
Well, let's not go that far.
I will. I will, because there's no way. There's no way. Make it $100 to each. Okay, well, I'm stretching it a little bit. You don't pay me that good.
The revs build, and it's go from the beer league as we fire it back down to turn number 1. Kyle Smith trying to keep it out in front as they rock it down the front straightaway and down into the opening corner. Who's going to make a claim? We're already 4 abreast, deeper in the field. One by one, drivers cycle through. No problems yet. Oh, there we go. We got one car going way out wide, but nobody stopped in the middle of the circuit. I think apart from that one wreck, we've made it through turn 1 clean. Now, do we make it out of the Essex?
Yeah, Corey Barrett from second place, hard overcorrected and went head on into the outside wall coming out of turn number 1 from the second place position. But everybody else is clean and green. Look at this Hornet's nest coming out of the S's and into the inner loop.
Tell you what, I mean, big credit where credit's due. They made it work. A lot better than they made it work in the sprint race. Take a look at what happened to Corey Barrett. And Zero Gratitude overcorrects. And, yep, that tire grabbed him.
I would have owed everybody in this field $1 if it wasn't for Corey Barrett. Oh, one of the team huge Jazz cars are off in the carousel.
And the rest of the field starting to cycle through as we kick off main event action here tonight. 1 hour officially underway. And Eric Ronenberg, the sprint race winner, going way out and into the grass. Almost got into the outside wall, 3 wide down the straight, and one of those cars getting squeezed in the middle. Just able to make that work. Ronenberg trying to get around the inside of Jason Lee as we fire down the backstretch.
Wow, this is fantastic racing from everybody. Just a couple little solo car incidents through the first lap, 3 of them. But other than that, it's been super clean all throughout the pack, coming through the exit of the the boot section here at Watkins Glen. I mean, what in the world? That might be the cleanest start we've seen in Beer League history. Oh, I take it back. I take it back. Huge accident between 3 guys coming down to the right-hander.
Oh, boy. And Austin Tucker facing the wrong way. One of the top 10 runners is around.
Well, we can't back up too much. He's going to get DQ'd if he does that for too long, but he's just trying to find a good spot,
we're
get out of the way.
Up the road. Look out. Oh, hard.
Yeah, I definitely spoke too early, didn't I?
Yeah, just a little bit, but not too much earlier. Tough break, though, for Austin Tucker.
Tight racing at the front of the field. Kyle Smith has not been able to get away from Justin Hall for the race lead. They're just now starting lap number 2, coming out of turn number 1. And Justin Hall was all over the back bumper of our race leaders. We get a replay, just going down into the gravel pit out there. Austin Tucker then getting sent around on the exit of the boot section.
Himself.
Oh yeah, just clips the inside grass there. Great job from another one of our faces to get around the outside there, but unfortunately for Tucker, just got on the gas maybe a little bit too early there on the apex of the corner. Does a good job getting out of the way of everybody because that is a tough corner exit to be sitting at.
And then up the road, you see more cars like Mac Verstappen getting collected up the road, and that created some problems. Verhulst in his rookie start has found the wall big time. That's in the inner loop, and did he get some help from behind? Oh, maybe from the side, and ABS not going to let you stop, and hard hit into that wall. Lucky the damage isn't on, or that'd be a race ender.
Absolutely. Luckily, they get a quick repair, I suppose, right off the bat every single time. But Justin Hall has made that pass on Kyle Smith for the race lead. A little bit further back, they're battling side by side. Is this right behind Chris Hannigan, Brooks Clayton, Steve McClendon side by side.
And Nate Franklin sitting in the wings as well, trying to see if he can find a way through. We're 3 wide in the background meanwhile. A lot of cars trying to get this sorted. This is Bradley, Castro, Bedolla, and Moore. And again, nearly coming together, but they look like they got that more or less secure as we go back up the hill. And looking like this race may be getting pretty close to the nighttime, if not fully in darkness by the end of this race. And these cars, they got headlights to manage that.
Yeah, we are running the time at times too, so it's a little bit of a higher chance that we get there. Oh, a little bit of contact there coming out of the penultimate corner. Oh, Eric Cronenberg getting sent around once again. Our sprint race winner is having a terrible time in the main event tonight.
And 3 wide again down the main straightaway. Clayton, Franklin, McClendon. Almost 4 wide, and around goes the Waffle House 57. McClendon spins it out. He'll slam the turn 1 tire barrier and drop all the way down through the order.
I can't believe you just spun out the Waffle House car, man. That's a Southern staple.
Sure is.
And it came off of your face.
I mean, that's fitting, right? I'm from the Northwest.
How dare you?
Caution window is open as, whoa, look out! Oh no! Oh no!
Is it happening again?
Well, no, I don't think so. This is at the back of the field. We should be fine.
Oh.
That was for 30th place on back, so we'll get it back sorted, no problems, but a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, we're a little nervy after that first one. Clank's getting by Thacker for the 3rd place spot, I believe, a little bit further up. Clank's doing a heck of a job driving up from the 11th place spot, challenging up now into the podium.
Yeah, challenging up to the podium. Meanwhile, drivers like Alex Crawford are making moves as well as Crawford. Remember, your defending champion is up to 27. We never got to talk to him at Mid-Ohio because of the circumstances in which he won that race. But Crawford, very much your defending title. Looking to make a splash early on. Whoa! And that's McClendon around. And that, I think, was by himself. And we got more cars around at the top of the hill.
Oh, that's a tough spot to be to. 2 stop cars on the exit there of the 180 degree. I think our 2nd place driver Kyle Smith just went around coming out of the boot. Kyle Smith dropping down the running order. It's completely ruined. Oh, another car power sliding coming out. Goodness gracious, these guys are slipping and sliding all over.
They're not stable. It makes it difficult. Take a look on what happened to Kyle Smith here. Well, that was a little bit after. This is actually what happened.
Same thing from Austin Tucker.
Yeah. Oh, the car in front of him nearly made the same mistake.
Yeah, we almost had both of our race leaders going off there. Instead, Justin Hall able to keep his car straight, but Alexander Clank is running him down so quick, and Man, Brooks Clayton.
Oh, that's a tough hit. And that was the wreck that happened down in the boot itself, and these cars were managed to stay stopped until they got this sorted. Kyle Smith only just now getting himself righted.
Wow.
There is a lot of little mini battle packs forming up here as we work up and over the rise of the S's. And two very giant Hornets nests that are very nervy to watch at the moment as we make that look back down into the inner loop. I don't think these guys are making it out of here. 3 wide, does it work? Get around they go. Oh
no,
boy.
all three of them get shucked off the racetrack, and they're losing a ton of spots. They have completely taken themselves out of that little battle pack, as you mentioned. And I think we're going to see a lot of battle packs all season long due to the draft. We're just going to see big clumps of cars racing together with a couple little stragglers here or there.
That whole situation was the epitome of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Well, look at this. Our top 5, like I mentioned, like how we've been talking about the little battle packs. The top 5 have.
The top 5 have. I believe we may have just lost Austin Edstrom as an abrupt cut. So you'll have my lovely voice to keep you entertained for the next little while. But battle for third is on. Aaron Thacker under fire from Chris Hannigan. Hannigan makes that look into the penultimate corner. He'll make that look for the third position. And that allows the top 2 to break away a little bit more as Justin Hall and Alexander Kling both running huge ass cars as they run down the front straightaway. Took off yet another lap. Down to turn 1, looking like Hall and Kling could be looking to work together to run away.
Separated themselves.
So still continuing to have problems with Edstrom as we'll hopefully get those sorted before too long. But 9th, 10th, 11th, Ron Wolf, Shane Cameron, and Graham Jordan all getting tucked up in a line as well. 2-car tandem between Cameron and Jordan. And Ron Wolf fully clear. Whoa, way out wide is Cameron. He'll take to the grass. Does a little bit of a hop and a scoot and gets himself back on track. Just behind, Madole, Bradley, Flams also under a blanket for 12th through 14th. Austin, do we got you? And the silence is a resounding no. So Austin will continue to work out whatever issues are going on behind the scenes while Madole, Bradley, and Flams continue to be in lockstep with the rest of the pack here, coming up and over the rise in the middle of the boot section. 12th through 14th, all still under a blanket. Jason Lee and Giovanni Romano looking to go side by side for the 17th position. Romano taking it down low over the DuPont Toyota. And crossing back up, almost going around. Trouble for Nate Brooker. Brooker around. The British bomber having issues as well, coming back up and over the rise. Now we'll to bet this is a solo car spin. Coming off those curbs, yep, sure enough, just took too much curb up and over the hill. And oh, he overcorrected and nosed it big time into the barrier. And he made a very smart choice there to back that car up off of the racing line. We'll check back in on the battle for the lead. 10 minutes into a 1-hour main event. And still do not have Austin Edstrom as he is still working to get those issues sorted out behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Clank looking to make a run around Justin Hall. Dives for it around the outside into the inner loop. That's a bold call. Can he hang on to it? Around the inside. Clank fighting back. Can't get it done. And Justin Hall makes a pass the long way around the inner loop. And Chris Hannigan looking like he wants to try to get back up and into the fray as well. dives down into turn number 7 there. Kling started to run away, while Hall and Hannigan remain side by side for the number 2 position. And Hall gets clear.
So Clank has finally overtaken Justin
go.
Hall here. Unfortunately, my Discord decided that now was the perfect time to crash. I've been on it for the last 5 hours, and it decides that now is the time that it wants to implode on itself, which is great.
Tracks. That's technology in a nutshell for you.
But at least the racing is still really, really good out on the racetrack. Nobody's iRacing is crashing, and that's the important thing, right?
Yeah, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Turns out, by the way, a little fun fact for you there, Austin, there was correlation to that as it was discovered. So, yeah, you were correct on that one. I thought it was coincidence. It was not. It's a known bug. So there you go. Looking at the battle for 8th on back. Oh, never mind. Cameron hard into the wall, collects a couple as they wreck it big time on the first straightaway. Cameron up into the air, and here comes the pack behind them.
I think everybody else should be good, kind of giving each other a little room. Little nervy from a couple, but they end up getting it sorted out. Jason Lee got caught up in that after somebody came back up across the racetrack. So tough break there from Lee, but we were talking about the little battle packs, right? There's little groups of anywhere from 2 to 5 cars, and whenever there is an incident in one of those groups, it's big, takes out half the group, and then the next group behind them has to really, really worry about running them over, but it seems like most people are not. They just seem to full throttle through it.
I mean, when you got no damage and you'll only lose a couple seconds.
I mean, that's a good point. You know, if you hit somebody, and you get back on the racetrack, and it's not that big of a deal. But again, battle packs. Look at this one coming through the bus stop. We got 6, 7 drivers all under a blanket trying to figure it out for that 8th place spot. Sean Bradley up in the front with a little bit of a gap. So Brooks Clayton coming down into the boot. Oh, and this is another incident. Was that Eric Ronenberg going around once again in front?
Yeah, that was Ronenberg going off the road, caught too much of the curbing. Whoa! Whipped that car around. Okay. I was going to say it's a good save, but then he actually stopped sideways on the track, and I think that nullifies the save.
It was so close, too. That would have been one of the coolest flick spins I've ever seen in my life if he would have figured that one out.
This battle for 8th is a tight one. Bradley is leading the way, and there's a lot of cars that are really anxious to try and find a way around him. You got right now 8th through 13th, all under a second. As the work back up and over the rise.
Oh no, the 3rd place car here in this pack goes around, catches Giovanni Romano in that as well, dropping back to the back of the pack. At the end of the day, not too bad though. It just kind of separates that pack out a little bit. A couple of them lost some positions, but that wasn't the biggest one that we've seen out of one of these. But this front pack too, man. Last season we would kind of see one guy get away from everybody. Here though, at Watkins Glen, with the draft that they've got and these little packs that they're racing in, nobody's really been able to get away. Even though Alexander Clank has taken that lead away, Justin Hall, Chris Hannigan, Tyler Augustino are still all right there. Now they're side by side for second right now, so they got to get this figured out and push down to Alexander Clank and not let him get away, not let him break that draft. But Hannigan really wants that 2nd place spot.
I mean, it could just be the track as well, right? I mean, for these cars, Watkins Glen is a very draft-heavy track. There's quite a few tracks, though, that they've raced on before that are not very draft-heavy. So we'll see if that's a trend that will continue throughout the course of the season as Hall, Hannigan, Augustino, and more all packed up line to stern. And whoa, boy, that's a crash in the carousel. No, that's a crash on the back straightaway as Chris Flams found the wall.
Yeah, Chris Flams is not liking the exit of the S's tonight. I think that's a very, very safe bet.
Taking a look, he was tandeming with another driver. Oh, that's a tandem gone wrong. That was Sean Bradley he was with.
I don't know if I've ever seen a bump draft go wrong at a road course before, but that was, I mean,
they're rare,
it looked like it was straight out of Talladega.
I mean, have you watched the Real World MX-5 races at Daytona?
No, I need to.
There's so many cases of tandem drafting at super speed at Daytona in the MX-5 series going wrong. So many of them.
That just blows my mind they even race there in real life. Those little tiny cars around that big Daytona International Speedway. I mean, that must be a sight to see as we see The 34 spinning around in the inner loop there.
That's Noise, the rookie, and the league founder of the OMSRL truck series that we run on Tuesday nights, making the jump over to Wednesdays.
Whoa, we're good to see a little bit of double dipping here on Green Flag TV.
I mean, we got a lot of that nowadays.
Coming down to turn 1, still this front pack, then falling back to the Dogecoin car here, coming through the boot. And back up to that front. Oh, no, Doge! Oh, man, a little bit of 4 wide action before we get...
That was Flams. Oh, looks like Flams had another incident. And that's by himself. Just lost the back end, and then here comes the field up behind him. He's going to rejoin right in front as they try to get through, and not a lot of room. They went 4 wide for a moment.
Yeah, I didn't really think he could go 4 wide at Watkins Glen, but see it happening here. I think Alexander Clank just lost the lead. Coming out of the S's, Justin Hall and Chris Hannigan both got by, moving Alexander Clank back to the 3rd place spot.
Take a look at what happened to Justin Hall. And he and Hannigan linked up, and they bump drafted right by him down the back chute and in towards the inner loop.
Oh, they're side by side for the race lead again. Chris Hannigan is taking it away from Justin Hall, coming down into the boot. Hall falling back to 3rd once again as Alexander Clank gets around the outside.
And Clank trying to make a move as well. We'll jump back real quick, just show you this pass here as Hannigan overshot the corner. Sorry, no, that was Hall that overshot the corner. And Hannigan said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that one away." So
this is awesome, man. The racing we're seeing in these cars is absolutely fantastic. Flipping the lead back and forth multiple times. That draft down into the inner loop has proven to be an excellent passing zone with a couple people linking up, doing a little bit of teamwork down that straightaway. We're going to be seeing that all night as long as these packs stay tied up like this. And you never know. Once that random caution comes out, if it does, it's going to bunch everybody back up once again, and we could bring a lot of people back into this fight for the race win. Now,
here's my big question for you, right? Because obviously, this car runs with the Ford Mustang FR500S in the iRacing Production Car Challenge. Do you prefer these or the Mustangs?
Well, currently I'm preferring these. These are absolutely fantastic so far. I just like... And you know, we do need to go to a more variety of tracks to really get a good idea. But here at Watkins Glen, where there is a very heavy portion of the lap that is draft dependent, it's kept everybody super close, at least in their own little packs that they found themselves in. Now our 3rd place finisher, or our 3rd place driver right here, Tyler Agostino, kind of dropping off of our front 2 now as they're kind of working together, as long as they keep bump drafting the front 2, that is.
Ooh.
Oh, big accident coming in through the final corner.
That's Verhulst drifting back up. And contact. Oh, a heavy shot. And who was that just got around him? That was Derby, I believe.
Oh, man, and then they go 3 wide down the front straightaway. Dude, I'm loving these cars. I know we haven't had the amount of races to really be able to say, but answering your question earlier, I'm liking these way more than the Ford Mustang so far. And tremendously more than late model stocks. Wow. Wow.
Doesn't get much closer than that. That's the thing about these cars, right? I mean, with the suspension they got and the damage model, they hit a wall. They rebound back big time.
Which lends itself to classic of beer league shenanigans. I mean, the entire season we're going to be seeing people caught up with stuff like that. I mean, that's a huge hit into the outside wall, but you typically don't expect race cars to bounce off of them that hard. I mean, my goodness. If we see that through the S's, we're going to see something very similar to what we saw in the sprint race.
Ronenberg, Bradley, Cameron under a blanket for 14th through 16th. And Sean Bradley looks like he's going to pull to the right and let these guys take it as they'll link up in that little blast over the hill. Just behind them, you got Michael Derby battling with Austin Tucker, Jeremy Castro, and Jason Lee. These are the guys that just got around that spinning Ryan Volhurst driver.
Race leader pitting.
Yeah, first pit stop of the season. Well, first scheduled pit stop of the season.
So I imagine we're looking at a 2-stop here with Hannigan pitting at the 38-minute mark. Typically, you would expect if they can make it on 1 stop, then the race leader in clean air would go as long as possible and use that clean air to his advantage. But here, pitting with 38 minutes to go, got to think it's a 2-stopper.
Well, We'll pull up the track map here, and there you can see the entire field. As, in fact, Alex Harrison, you see him light up in the red there on the track map. Just had a problem coming out of the corner, but you can see just how spread out this entire field is around. And lap traffic nowhere in sight for the race. I'm not going to comment. But yeah, lap traffic nowhere in sight for Alexander Klenk right now. Is that leading battle pack as Purcell also comes down into the pits.
Excuse me there. I tried to hit the mute button fast enough, but I'm a little bit slower than the guys on the racetrack.
And
ooh,
too wide on
a little
the
bit different
exit.
than what we've seen.
Yeah.
Typically we've seen it on the apex there. That's the first time we've seen it. Wow. First time we've seen it really because somebody driving a little bit too wide on the exit.
Yeah. It's just as likely of a possibility.
I'm interested in Hannigan. He's just now coming through the S's after that pit stop. Everybody else that he had been running with, Alexander Klenk up at the front, coming through the last couple corners of the boot currently as Hannigan is just recovering from his pit stop. Gonna have to see if Hannigan really came out in any clean air. Not really. He's got one driver in front of him that he's got to get by relatively quickly, but after that, he does have a decent bit of clean air. It's just a little interesting to see Hannigan pit or I guess out of sequence of the guys in front of him. Now they could come down this next lap and break that, but I would have expected the race leader to keep the clean air as long as possible.
I mean, in all fairness, though, to Hannigan, right? When you're pitting up at the front and the trap map, again, looks like this, you don't really have much of a hope to come out in clean air.
Well, that's why I would expect him to wait until other people started pitting, because if he's one of the last ones to pit road, then you're potentially in clean air, in the same clean air that you were in before the pit stop. So I'm just interested to see how that pans out. Now, he could just bump draft the guy in front of him the entire time and make up a whole lot of time as long as he's halfway decent through the corners. But, you know, it's just a part of figuring out this car. And this is an exhibition, so perhaps Chris Hannigan's just doing a little bit of experimenting here in week one.
Justin Hall closing on Augustino, and instead of going for the pass, he's going to try to push him back to Klenk. And look at the delta on how quickly they're able to run down Klenk. The bump drafting is so powerful in these cars. It is definitely going to be a tactic we'll have to watch out for at the more draft-heavy tracks all season long. Tucker, McClendon, Castro, Beckman, Dupuis all into the pits this time, and Romano, of course, came down on lap 7.
Am I crazy for hoping that we get the Daytona Oval again?
Yes.
No, come on. I want to see the Monza Oval.
Three wide, not
no.
gonna work, and around they go. All three. That's Flores, Babcock, and Zemer all going around.
Oh, back into the apex of the first section of the S's. I mean, just there's no real good place to rejoin there, but maybe just wait. But hey, it all worked out. Oh man, still doing donuts in the dirt for the 36.
And Ryan Kulikowski having a problem. Clipping that grass. Ooh, boy.
Well, student driver, that's fitting.
Yeah. I almost did that on my first time driving.
Was the logo on the front like a police chalk outline like he's hit somebody? That's hilarious.
Yes, it was.
What an amazing paint. Oh, my goodness. These guys never disappoint. Oh, the random yellow.
There we go. Well, we're talking about student drivers, right? And, well, we got a yellow flag. Do you want to hear a story about how I nearly gave my mom a heart attack when I was in the car for 5 seconds?
Absolutely.
So, I have been doing a lot of sim racing before I was 16, right? And I have been playing different racing games, mostly Codemasters F1 games. I did not realize how sensitive real-world car pedals were. So, first time getting in the car, she tells me gently back. We were in a big gravel parking lot. Nobody else was around. Perfect place to learn how to drive. First time getting in the car, I put the gas pedal halfway to the floor when it was in reverse, expecting it to like be a slow lurch. Car shot out and nearly ran into the fence for the BMX track that was right behind us.
Oh my word.
I did stop the car. That's how I learned, though, how sensitive gas pedals really were. Funnily enough, simulators do not do a good job of representing that.
Well, because in simulators you're taught to slam the gas pedal, or at least get to 50%. Right, your first instinct is to get to 50% or so coming out of these corners and riding there until you can drift out. So I can see why you thought that.
Dupuis having a spin. This is under the safety car already. Just loops the back end. That was as they were trying to catch it. That was for 35th.
And I'm trying to figure out if this helps or hurts Chris Hannigan and all the other guys that have already pitted. Now, obviously, they're going to stay out.
I think it helps them. They should be able to get back up to the point with this.
But is everybody else going to try to make it on one stop and they can't? Or did they pit as soon as the fuel window opened and I was just incorrect about the two-stop? You know, perhaps they pit as soon as their fuel window opened and this caution just helps them make it to the end. If that's the case, absolutely. This has just absolutely helped Chris Hannigan and everybody else that pit. But if everybody still has to make one more pit stop, I'm leaning towards it hurting them because these guys that are going to pit under this caution are going to have plenty of time to save fuel under the caution, and they already stretched it to 28 minutes on this stint. If we don't go green until 28 minutes, then I imagine all these guys that hadn't pit yet can make it.
So if you have one yellow flag, you could make it typically about 27 laps, and that would make it a two-stop race. So it is looking like this will now be a two-stop race through and through.
Okay, well, either way, I'm intrigued to see how this cycles through for Hannigan. If this is truly gonna help him and cycle him back to the race lead.
Well,
and honestly, with a draft-heavy track like this, I'd rather have as low a fuel as possible at the end of this thing because you'll be a little bit quicker in the straights.
So all of a sudden, I'm going to correct myself on that. There might be a one-stop. We're only about, what, a minute and a half away from halfway? These guys have a lot of fuel under caution.
Yeah.
This is a one-stop for everybody else. I think Hannigan might be screwed. You might be right, actually.
I mean, if he pitted whenever the pit window opened, right? Maybe it was just a one-stopper through and through. I don't know. Either way, we got to pay attention to Hannigan as everybody else comes down pit road. I'll pay attention to Hannigan, see if he's going to dive down with everybody else to make sure he can make it to the end. If he stays out, he's got to be able to make it, right?
That's the theory. Romano staying out. He pitted on lap 7. Justin Hall staying out. He pitted on lap 12. Same lap as, 2 laps after Hannigan. Hannigan staying out as well. All right, it's a one-stopper. That answers that.
Well, this caution came at the perfect time for Chris Hannigan then, because all these guys, they're actually going to start even further back because a load of other guys that were mid-pack drivers came down pit road also, and they're just skipping the pit cycle here. I mean, this ends up being a great caution for everybody that came down pit road. Look at all these guys. I mean, we just saw the Waffle House car go by. He spun out 3 or 4 times over the last 10 minutes, and now he's just jumped everybody that had not made a pit stop.
And lights are already out on the iRacing pace car, too. I wonder if they're going to go green this time. I mean, it wouldn't.
Oh, my word.
It might. That doesn't make sense, though, if they do, because Condi still has to get waved around. So does Blake Gambrell. What's going on here? Why are they not going around? Justin Hall's your leader. Caution window just closed with 30 minutes on the clock.
And this is why we do an exhibition race before they just extended the caution, by the way.
You work out the kinks. Okay, there we go.
But yeah, this is why we run an exhibition beforehand. We figure out all the bugs, especially whenever you change the caution coding stuff. Anytime you go and change code, there's a very good likelihood that there's one little something messed up. I'm telling you, I took 3 coding classes, and it is the most ridiculous crap in the world. You make one little mistake, and the entire thing breaks. So I think
I've had to try to code this overlay. Trust me, I know.
Oh man, it's tough. It can be difficult. So give it a. Oh my gosh!
I hate it.
Who is that in the middle? Get him out.
Right.
It's like, oh boy, oh no.
It's Chris Bryant, the Castrol issue. Look at him actually having a normal paint scheme.
Oh, there is something in my mind that is not broadcast friendly, seeing that little white car stuck in between 4 of us.
Oh boy. Well, we're under caution for the first time tonight. 42 remain on the lead lap. Justin Hall, your leader. We'll be back in a moment. Getting set to go back to green flag racing, this time by, as Justin Hall, Giovanni Romano, Chris Hannigan, Brian LeBlanc, and more. All tucked up, line astern. We're ready to rumble.
25 minutes to go as well, and as we know, the caution period's over. So we've got this thing green to the end.
Maybe. Remember,
True.
they had 2 bots running that one time. We'll see if they have a second bot running here.
Well, I only saw one say the window opened. So unless all of a sudden another bot comes in and says the window opened again, then I think we're okay.
That'd be even
maybe.
funnier.
It would be. Imagine it opens with 5 minutes left and the caution comes out right as somebody's making the pass for the lead. I hope I didn't just jinx that. I really hope I didn't, because we've had a great race. And now that the field has kind of flipped a little bit, with the pitters being up front. Who's the first guy that came out of pit road? Is it Agostino, at least under caution?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so, in the 11th place position. So it'll be interesting to see how the battle packs form this time. How many people are going to be in that main pack with a chance to win? Who's going to be just off of it and fall off of it to where they're not going to have the opportunity? Wow, a lot of guys still having to get caught up.
The back of the pacing line is still only just exiting the boot, while the front of the pacing line is into turn number 1 as the headlights flick on. We're going to be racing into the dusk. Green flag is back in the air, and it's a side-by-side drag race for the lead. Down to the turn number 1. Justin Hall, Giovanni Romano, side by side as Pat fans out behind through turn 1.
Justin Hall got a really good run coming out of the first corner. Did not get a good jump on the start as the headlights flashed on for the green flag. What perfect timing that was. Justin Hall through the S's though. Three drivers, single file. Everyone behind him kind of panicking a little bit, but they've got it figured out through the S's. Three-car train here, and then another 3 or 4 back behind them are just trying to get the draft. Man, huge hornet's nest coming out of the S's as we come to expect here on these restarts.
No drivers having problems yet off the hitch. That might change once we hit the inner loop, though, as they are going double file. They were thinking about 3 wide in the midfield, but they did decide against it. I think that's
Justin Hall.
Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Oh! Holy cow, that was a massive, massive impact through the carousel.
That was
I don't know if it gets
Wolf
bigger.
and Carlton.
Oh, my word. Your pretty little face. Destroyed. Oh my word.
Just about a scratch.
Just a little bit of acne.
I mean, it's true to real life, so.
Oh man.
Greg
Another
Beckman,
driver off.
Yeah, Beckman going around as well. Is that Rocky on the side of his car? I just noticed. Maybe.
My favorite thing about the beer league might just be whenever the season's changing, they put new paint schemes on.
Kid. Can you tell when it comes back around here? See if that's Rocky or the Karate Kid.
I
can't tell.
I have no idea.
Ryan Verholst still also having a problem. This is down to turn. I have no idea where that is. As Verholst goes.
The right-hander coming out of the boot, or not? Yeah, the boot.
No, that's the right-hander. I think that's the right-hander at the heel.
Oh, yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I just call the whole thing the boot. I don't necessarily say the heel of the boot, but that makes a lot more sense. One of us making a move to the inside of Chris Hannigan, though. That's Brian LeBlanc. Ooh, got a little sketchy on the inside. Man, they run it out super wide. Is that not a slowdown way out there?
Nope.
What?
Not if you go far out wide enough.
I thought that was so far wide that they get the slowdown, but either way, looks like they're safe from that one. But Hannigan trying to bridge the gap.
There's a gap where it is, but if you go out past that gap, then it's not a slowdown anymore. And they went out far enough that it wasn't a slowdown anymore.
Okay, fair enough. I guess that's to save people if they wreck, to not give it to them. But
yeah,
regardless, Justin Hall still in the lead. Oh, but he's completely missed the inner loop, and that is absolutely a slowdown. Comes back across the track. Then opens it over for Chris Hannigan on the inside. He squeezes past both of them for the race lead.
Just making the lunge for the race lead, and now Romano battling back, looks to go the long way around as we enter, I guess, the angle. Oh, contact between the two, and off into the grass goes Hannigan. Still able to keep it on as we dive down to the heel, and the Jelly Belly machine keeps it out in front. How is that for a big battle for the lead? Romano's not done.
Oh, and neither is Brian LeBlanc. Right behind him as there's 2x2 in front of him. LeBlanc's got a huge toe here down the foot of the boot. Coming down, trying to make a move, but look at this. Giovanni Romano on the inside, going to be able to outbrake Hannigan on the inside, or on the outside. But Hannigan gets a better run coming out of the corner, and he's going to be able to stick it back to the inside for the next corner.
Careful, though. We've seen a lot of drivers get unsettled here on corner exit. Tracks out wide and almost forces Romano off-piste. But Hannigan keeps that car firmly pinned to the inside. He's not letting Romano take this without a fight. They've been side by side for a darn near half a lap now. As Romano back to the inside now for the final corner.
Just
wall goes around. We'll check out again on that in a moment, but they're still two abreast.
And Brian LeBlanc, instead of making him 3 wide to the inside, actually pushes Chris Hannigan by on the outside. They're still going to be even, coming down into the braking zone just about. Hannigan runs it way out wide all the way to the wall. I believe that's going to give it to Romano, but no, he actually is able to stay in front of him as they get down to the S's.
Still side by side. If they make it side by side back through the inner loop, they will have been side by side for a whole lap. And finally, never mind, they're going back at it.
Oh no, Hannigan has finally lost out for the race lead. He's actually losing a lot. What is going on?
I think he has a slowdown. I think he caught that slowdown there that you were talking about.
Oh, look at this, Brian LeBlanc. Looking to the inside, trying to get the position. No, that's Austin Tucker, my mistake. Trying to get it into the inner loop, not quite able to do it. Romano just dips 2 wheels through the grass, but able to hold on to the spot.
And this is what happened to Justin Hall. He actually rear-ended somebody else and spun around. So a little bit of a backwards formation on what usually happens. And Verstappen has binned it hard into the wall.
Yeah, Verstappen not having a great night. He was really starting to figure out that late model stock at the end of the year. He was starting to rattle off some good finishes.
He collided with Todd Badol, who had this moment right in front of him. Oh, no, that's...
Oh, wow.
Completely different incidents at the same corner. Then Stefan Purcell having this problem. Again, same corner, just seconds later. And then Tyler Carlton having this issue.
Oh, it's all starting to kick off. You can tell the aggression level is starting to get up there. Everybody's starting to make a little bit careless mistakes, I'd say. Maybe not careless. They're over-aggressive mistakes, I feel like, into the braking zone. Wow. That's not the spot to be stopped side by side.
Yeah.
We're stopped on the exit of a corner. That's a tough ask for everybody to get through, but luckily they were able to.
Romano still leads the way. Austin Tucker seeing if he can't try to battle back. Chris Hannigan back into pit road. What's happened to Hannigan? As he comes down to the lane, Chris Bright's into the lane, Lee's into the lane. Do you think they committed to a two-stop strategy maybe? And this was just how it came out.
Yeah, I guess they had just hard committed to the two-stop earlier, but I couldn't see how that would possibly work out if everybody else could stretch it on gas. I mean, maybe everybody else couldn't, but because of that caution, maybe they are?
Oh, boy. Pit strategy falls apart. We'll check in on the fight for 15th. Graham Jordan, Shane Cameron, Chris Flams. And looking like Jordan and Flams want to link up. Jordan tracks out. As they run it through. Oh, boy. One car goes off course right in front of them. That was Nate Brooker, who's got a huge slowdown. And he's right on the racing line, too. This is going to get wild here. He's got to give that time up somehow. I think to look for 3 wide. He's going to take it way wide. And we got 2 cars spinning around in the background. One of them being Dupuis.
Oh, the 45 again. Just clipped the grass coming down into turn number 1. Power slides, overcorrects out into the dust on the outside. And then coming down into the boot.
That was a late block from Barrett Morton there, it looked like. Was that Corey Barrett?
We never know anyway, and now they've got the same paint scheme, don't they? And they both have
It was
Barrett.
Corey Barrett.
Oh, man. I think we added a Barrett this year, too, so it's going to be
We
Gonna
did.
be tough.
Corey Barrett's the new one.
Oh, my. Dude, there are 5 of us behind Giovanni Romano. If we get second through 6 and don't get the lead.
Oh, no! Huge hit.
Wow.
For Graham Jordan and Zemer, Flores, Harrison. What has happened here?
Oh,
They're
no, not
still
again.
wrecking. So first, Beckman having a problem. Coming into the boot. And then Derby kind of kicked this all off. Just looped it around, went hard into the wall. There goes a few cars off. And it just stacks all the way up. And
Big
then
car come up on
around
the
comes
exit of it,
Hall,
man.
and it was Darren Bai that went into the wall. Now, did anyone else get involved? No, I think we stopped it there.
Oh my goodness, there's a 3-car tandem of us bump drafting down the back straightaway right now.
Oh my God.
This is a second place spot. They're trying to get up to Giovanni Romano.
If you wreck me, I'm going to be very upset.
Well, if you're Giovanni Romano, I would be the most scared right now because I've got 3 Nolan faces chasing me down for the race lead.
I'm a force of nature.
And it's really 5. I mean, look at this. There's 3 of us nose to tail, and then there's another 2 stragglers back there, back behind them.
Drag the brake, make it a 5-car tandem.
Dude, oh my word, I would die. Oh, this is fantastic. Look at this. Nolan, all lined up 2nd through 6.
Eric Ronenberg putting down the fastest lap of the race that last time by with a 2:05.59. 15 minutes to go into the final quarter of this race. Romano's got a 2.5 seconds on Tucker on down. And Ronenberg looking like he wants to break up the party.
No, Ronenberg, what are you doing, man? I thought he was down and out, to be fair. So big credit to Eric Ronenberg making up all these positions. He had spun out how many times after winning the sprint race? Oh, no.
Oh, well.
I was about to cry for my man if he just did that after I was talking about that. But he's had a good recovery drive because he had spun out multiple times after winning the sprint race. And now he's got himself back up into the top 10. So great job for Ronenberg clawing his way back up here. Just a little power slide coming out of the boot section.
So 6th on back, the closest bunch right now. And whoa, Zemer, look out! As he has a torrent of a ride coming down to the round through the toe. We'll jump up a little further than that as, no, a little further. You know what this will do? Oh, close enough. I won't tempt fate. But watch out, Zemer here. This could have been a huge hit. He did a good job to mitigate the losses on this. He went way out wide. Oh. Only dinged off the wall instead of body slammed it.
Yeah, that could have been a whole heck of a lot bigger. But I'm kind of surprised. The front pack is now starting to separate a little bit. A little bit of gaps in between a lot of these guys up towards the front. Maybe a couple of the faster guys getting up here. Really stinking up the show now. Giovanni Romano just starting to pull away.
This is right now the biggest battle group that you got on the racetrack, from 2nd on back to about 11th. From there, a lot of the drivers have really started to break apart. I'm seeing a couple of single-car trains, a couple of 4-car trains, but this is the only really big pack that you have on the racetrack. Beckman and Kulikowski both come down to pit road this time by as well. So some more pit service undergoing here in the final stages of this race.
We'll still have to see if any of these guys that pitted under that caution have to come in. You know, there could be a couple, we could see some stop and goes here, or like little fuel and goes. I'm just conflicted because seeing those guys pit around the 38, 35 minute mark and then having a caution come out, I feel like everybody probably had to make at least some type of a 2-stop here tonight if they were pitting that early.
Romano pitting?
Correct, Romano's pitting.
Oh boy. Did Romano pit under the caution?
I'm going to look. I'm going to check right now.
If he did, that's going to throw up some big questions about fuel numbers. Tucker takes the lead. LeBlanc runs in 2nd.
He did not. He was with the group that pitted early.
It is an abomination 1, 2, 3, 4 right now.
I can't believe this. Well, how in the world have we done this? If we all finish on the podium, if we lock out the podium spots, I'm going to be so happy.
Graham Jordan going around in the final corner on the racetrack. Oh, collides. How about that for a good save for whoever he hit? Ronenberg is fighting back to the field. He's up to 6th now, trying to look around Castro for the number 5 spot. And this is allowed for McClendon to drag himself back into the fray as well.
Ronenberg still trying to recover here in that 6th place spot, trying to get up into the top 5. Late move down to the inside, entering the boot. Ronenberg towards the inside of Jeremy Castro for the 5th place spot. A little bit better run through the center of the corner. Now side by side, but he has a 180-degree right-hander coming up, stuck on the outside. It's going to be tough for Ronenberg to rip this thing around Jeremy Castro. He's trying, but Castro drives him out wide, and he's going to keep that position.
A lot of physicality going on there, and they're looking for 3 wide. Ronenberg trying to go up the middle. He's got 1 car behind him to help out. Does he take it back down the hill? Augustino and Castro remaining side by side. Ronenberg still trying to break up into the top 5. These guys are not letting them take it without a big fight.
No, these guys are fighting for every single position, and we're not even offering points tonight. Austin Tucker starting to pull away a little bit from Brian LeBlanc behind him. They were nose to tail coming across the line last time by. This time, though, Tucker has stretched that gap out to over a second.
Whoa! Whoa!
Was that Brooks Clayton going hard in the inside fence?
No, that was Ronenberg.
Clayton did too. And now Clayton's pitting.
Oh, good grief.
Both of them through the last corner.
First, what happened to Ronenberg as he got hooked hard into the outside wall by the 24.
Oh, Castro, man.
And then this is what happened to Brooks Clayton.
I couldn't tell if he had help from behind, but he definitely clipped the grass on the inside, and then Crawford might have clipped him after he slowed up, but Clayton ends up pitting. I feel like Clayton did pit under the caution, and he just re-pit. So I'm gonna have to check once again on Clayton, but I still feel like everybody's probably gonna have to come down for a splash of gas.
Morganado having another off. This is up and over the hill. Just goes for a lazy spin, loops the back end. Nothing else to worry about. But the battle's on for second. Tucker and LeBlanc going at it with Crawford in the lead. As Crawford, in fact, took the lead away from these drivers. But look at that lead in the minute here as the battle for second sorts itself out. And this is how Crawford took the top spot. Just got an over-under through the stop chicane.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on the different pit situations. Clayton had actually pitted right before the caution came out, but it was the lap before. So with him coming down pit road, I do think everybody's going to have to come down for a splash of gas. So I think we're still kind of in no man's land, not really knowing who's in the best position right now. I mean, it's anybody's best guess at this point on the fuel mileage, but obviously Crawford coming from the back here, now up to the race lead, looks to be super, super strong. It's all going to be about where he comes out after the pit road cycle.
The defending champion trying to kick off his preseason game in. Oh man, one car just body slammed the wall in the background here. That's Jeremy Castro that's been spun to the back, and this is no doubt with help. No, it's not. Overcorrected big time.
That corner's kind of been solo spin city so far today. Everybody's having a lot of trouble through that section of the racetrack.
McClendon in the pit road, and now, whoa, boy. Tucker out wide. He slams the wall, and he was trying to push Brian LeBlanc through turn 1 so they can make a run on Crawford, and all that's done is give Crawford a second of a gap.
Yeah, and LeBlanc's really not close enough to push Tyler Augustino down the back straightaway, so they're not really going to gain too much on Crawford in the one position of the racetrack where they're guaranteed to do it, right? Through the corners, Crawford can manage. He can be a little bit quicker, but down these straightaways, if 2 of those cars get lined up nose to tail, it's just free time that they're gaining on Crawford. They were not able to do it that time.
The 751 of Alex Harrison has been given a drive-through for breach of the incident limits, so the first penalty of the season has just been dished out. And the battle for third kicking off between LeBlanc, Franklin, and Thacker.
LeBlanc on the inside here, entering the boot section. Able to hold on over Franklin. Sorry, that's, that's LeBlanc a little bit further back. But on the outside now through the 180-degree right. Again, it's tough on that outside groove. That car on the inside can really just shove you out. But there, LeBlanc kind of just missed that second groove, got way, way, way outside, and gives the spot over to Nate Franklin. Move him up into the podium spot.
Up into the podium position. Meanwhile, Thacker looking to get around the inside line here of LeBlanc. And he's going to do it. Thacker up to 4th. Another little battle pack developing at the tail end of the field. This is for 30th on back with quite a few drivers. Sorry, 31st on back with Bright, Smith, Badol, Verhulst, who's fresh out of pit road, and Dupuis all under a blanket.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where you're at on the racetrack, where you're at in the field. You want to get every single position you can. These guys fighting for that 31st place spot are going to be racing just as hard as those guys running for the lead up front. But also a battle for 17th. Steve McClendon has a little bit of a gap to Clank. But Clank's holding on from Harrison in that 18th place spot, a little bit closer between those two.
And Tucker in a pit road. Tucker could not make it to the end. So a 2-stopper it is. Ethan Condi. Oh boy. Overcorrects, slams the safer barrier, and he just got nicked. But that could have been a monster hit.
We have seen multiple times throughout the night that those front wheel tires, or those front end tires, just grip on these overcorrections. I mean, we've seen heavy overcorrections multiple times tonight with drivers just driving the front end of their car into the into the outside wall after they get a little power slide. I didn't realize that the front end of these things would grip so much.
Mac Verstappen going around, and same deal. Oh, good job from that Castrol car, and I think that was Blake Gambrell to get around that mess.
When does Crawford come to pit road? Does he have to? Our race leader stretching out his lead a little bit, 2.5 seconds almost over Agostino. Does he have to pit? Does he have to come down and fill a little bit more gas into that thing for the last couple laps? And if he does that open the door for Romano? Can Romano get back up there after he had to pit a little bit earlier?
There's less than 5 minutes to go. So Crawford's really got to make this choice. At the line, it'll be 2 laps the distance before we will close out racing action tonight. Still with 39 cars on the lead lap, and that's what happens when you get a bunch of club cars at a giant track like the Glen.
Like you mentioned, 2 laps to go coming by this time. Does Crawford have to pit? Are we going to see that 19 come down pit road, our previous season champion? Can he start out the next season here, the exhibition race, with a race win so that we can actually interview him, right? We didn't get to interview him 2 weeks ago, like you mentioned earlier, due to the circumstances of his victory, but could we see him tonight up in the broadcast booth staying out?
Staying out on the racetrack as 3.5 minutes left to go. Jamming on the binders, seeing if he can't get himself rolling, and Ron Wolf. Wolf spun around, tail of the field.
And this race is going to be finishing right as darkness is really falling. I mean, this whole place is pitch black just about. The only lights you're seeing on the racetrack are coming from the cars. Wolf just looping that thing, coming around the same corner we've seen cause incidents all night. And this was a little bit further up the field after the Wolf incident, coming down into the penultimate corner. Oh, I thought we were on a replay.
I was trying not to be.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh!
No, Waffle House again. Steve McClendon getting sent around.
Backs it off the racetrack and almost into the wall. Probably a good call on that one.
That was an incredible job getting it off the racetrack. Shane Cameron holding the 8th place position over Chris Flams into the inner loop. Looking a little bit better than Flams through the opening section of that. Stretches out that gap just a little bit. Able to keep it on the racetrack, but Flams got a little bit better run coming out.
And Brian LeBlanc losing out on a few positions here. As, oh, he had a slowdown. You can tell. You don't go that far offline and that slow unless you have a slowdown penalty that you got to serve.
Oh, man, look at this little pack here for the 27th place spot. Matthew Dupuis way to the outside of the S's here, trying to get something going on the back end of this. But up front, Chris Bright holding on to the position from Kyle Smith. Kyle had started in, I believe, first place position. He finished 12th in the sprint, was able to start on pole. The main event has just not gone his way, though, trying to get 1 spot back from Chris Bright.
Almost double file into the inner loop for this battle for the 27th spot on down. Meanwhile, Chris Hannigan working his way around. He will take up the last lap, this time by. Final lap of preseason now underway. And Mac Verstappen's just been penalized for incidents. He has got to take a drive-through. Same with Corey Barrett, as Barrett has spun around.
Yeah, and Alex Crawford has taken the white flag in the lead, but Tyler Agostino and Nate Franklin are running him down right now. I don't, maybe, oh, there, man, tough accident there, but I think Crawford might be trying to save just enough fuel to get to the end, but that lead it's shrinking. And they're hooked up behind him too.
Yeah, they're linked up. So Franklin going to really try to shove Agostino. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to play spoiler.
Dude, no. Why would he do that? They were flying. They're catching him. They're side by side and still catching him. He could have pushed him all the way down there and potentially got to Alex Crawford. I mean, maybe he could still do it. Nate Franklin up to second. But, man, I feel like that might have thrown away his chance at winning the race.
Jeremy Castro with the drive-through on the final lap of the race. Tyler Carlton and Jeremy Castro both going around as they come together in the final corner. And Lupin coming off of turn number 11, I think that is. And then Verstappen with this problem coming back over the hill once again. Oh, and again, body slams the tire wall.
Franklin's trying to run down Crawford, but I just don't know if he's got enough time unless Crawford doesn't have enough fuel in the tank. Crawford coming through the foot of the boot right now, coming through the length of it, down into the second to last corner of it, and then into the last trouble spot, I'd say, on the racetrack. Can Crawford get through here nice and clean? A little wide there, way wide, into the dirt. Could this open up the opportunity for Nate Franklin?
Half a second. Fight still isn't over as Crawford comes up and over the rise. Franklin does not lose it off what's been a very trying corner for a lot of drivers so far tonight. Crawford through the penultimate turn. Does he have the fuel? Drives into the final corner. Franklin still closing. 0.3 of a second. He will not get there. Your defending champion wins the preseason race at the Glen.
Almost turned to blows there between the two. If we had one more lap, it might have done it. But here, battle for 15th. Coming through the boot section, coming out of the exit of it. Justin Hall trying to hang on, trying to keep this 15th place spot over Ron Wolf, who's looking around the outside. We saw Wolf lose it through this corner just a couple laps ago. Can he give himself an opportunity to get that 15th place spot back away from Justin Hall as they've fallen off behind him?
And looking like Chris Flams might be out of fuel as Flams is out. Flams coasting to the line. He's lost the top 10, and he's going to drop all the way back and finish in 13th, it looks like. Here comes the down between Ron and Wolf. It's a drag race to the line. And how about that? I think Wolf got him by 14 seconds. Oh, sorry, by less than a few thousandths only.
6 thousandths of a second between those two for the 15th place spot.
We'll let them have their fun. We'll let them have their fun.
I like it. As long as my pretty little face back there doesn't get damaged, I'm all right.
I mean,
oh my word!
Somebody went flying. Yep, they're still coming in as the party commences down at turn 1. Seeing how many cars they can get on the other side of the barriers. Oh, Barrett doesn't even make it there. Here goes Morganato. What can Morganato do for a shunt?
What a shot, man.
Oh, no, that was not, I'm sorry, that was not all that impressive from Morganato. We'll see what, oh, Beckman!
Holy cow,
Beckman
that was
gonna
awesome.
Clear it with a pole vault. All right, I'll give Beckman a solid 7 out of 10 for that with some style points. Brian LeBlanc was pushed across the line by Verstappen.
Oh, why'd you do that to me?
Rodney Flores, well, because it's you, first off. Rodney Flores in 36th, looking like might be one of the last drivers. And Flores does not know how to have fun.
Oh, man. He's new to the beer league. You got to give him a couple weeks to figure it out.
We'll give him a few. We'll give him a few to figure it out. But as always, a very wild night of racing action here from the beer league. And well, with that, we're going to get set to take a rundown through your official post-race results here this afternoon. For the feature race, it is Eric Ronenberg. Sorry, it is Alex Crawford who takes up the race win by 0.2 of a second. Nate Franklin was in the number 2 spot. Tyler Agostino finishes in 3rd. Aaron Thacker was in 4th place with Eric Ronenberg in 5th. Bradley was 6th. Cameron 7th. Romano, Hannigan, Tucker round out the top 10.
11th place, Alexander Clank. Brooks Clayton finishes in 12th. Chris Flams in 13th. Ron Wolf in 14th. Justin Hall finishes in 15th with Steve McClendon, Jason L., Michael Derby, Graham Jordan, and Adam Jackson rounding out the top 20.
21st place is Nate Brooker. Then you've got Chris Bright. Looking down a little bit further throughout this field, 23rd place, you got Kyle Smith. Then it's Tom Adol, Darren Mai, Morgan Otto, Steph Purcell, Greg Beckman, Jacob Noyes, and Jeremy Castro to round out the top 30.
31st is going to be Matthew Dupuis with Brian LeBlanc in 32nd, Mac Verstappen in 33rd, Corey Barrett 34th, and Rodney Flores in 35th. Tyler Carlson brings it home 36th with Aaron Zeimer in 37th, Ryan Velhurst in 38th, Alex Harrison 39th, and Blake Gamble rounds out the top 40.
41st place will be Jordan Babcock with Robert Kulikowski finishing one lap down along with Ethan Condi. And then McColgan, Turnbull, Freed, and Klein not finishing off racing action this afternoon. If you're a bit photosensitive, take a look away now. It's about to get bright here as we'll flash back to the daylight so we can get a proper view here on these beautiful cars as they come across the start-finish line. And we will look to kick off our podium interviews first and foremost with defending champion Alex Cofford, who will join us up now in the broadcast booth. And, well, Alex, I'm going to start first by flashing back to last season. We won't go into the circumstances that made us so we were not able to talk to you, but we know. But, I mean, you come home tonight. It's a big race win to kick off your defending champion. But the last season, kind of walk us through that journey to take you to a title.
Yeah, it's just a little food poisoning, so I had to jump off there. But yeah, last season was a lot of fun. The LMS is a very unique car. I think the league was excited to drive it, but also excited to move past it. It's different. It has a lot of grip, just like this. It does not have a draft, unlike this. So we're excited to see the differences between the cars. But as for last season, I had a lot of really good luck, to be honest. Working your way through the field, there's a lot of possibilities for getting involved in wrecks, whether it's your fault, someone else's fault, or just like a combination effect that you just get involved in. And so between that and, I think some of the people in here have room temperature IQ when it comes to strategy calls. And
Wow.
I mean, I was going to use shoe size, but I think I was going to be polite to him. I'm not joking. Like, I gained so many positions off of people not being able to read a fuel gauge and stuff like that. So like, honestly, like, thank you to the league for, thinking illiteracy is cool. And I plan on, like, dominating them again because, reading, writing, and all that stuff's really difficult.
Well, Cofford, you are coming out swinging tonight, apparently.
I mean, tonight's a great example of it. Why did they not pit under caution and just save? I literally am like, what do these guys know that I don't? And I'm like that every time.
You sound so offended by it.
Because it's the same people every time. And they're like, wait a minute, you could have done this? And they're like so confused. It is like, I don't know what to tell you. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't teach him how to read a book.
I guess. Well, moving on. It's a completely brand new format that the season has taken root with. We've ditched the old heat racing format for instead a sprint, top 12 invert, and then of course the main event. How do you think that's impacted how your strategy panned out this afternoon?
Because it's open qualifying, Gio and I don't want to sit around and do nothing. So I think we're going to qualify and just throw the heat race, which is a little bit less fun for us, but overall for the league, I think it's a new angle and it's pretty cool. So that's good. The downside is there is points for top positions in the heat race. So Gio and I will be at a pretty severe disadvantage because of that. So that's going to make it pretty difficult, to be honest. But as long as people, like I said, don't know how to read a fuel gauge, I think I'll be good and stuff because, Watkins Glen, for example, is a different track. It's a draft track. So real pace is kind of hard to see. So I will say this, a lot of people are really excited about the season. They think that they're all going to have a better season than last year. And so I'm really interested to see how it shakes out because I bet if you polled the league, 85% of the people would say that they're going to be significantly better. And I don't mean like from a talent level, I mean from like a placement level. So I think there's going to be maybe some bruised egos and maybe some reality checks, and it'll be exciting to watch.
Looking forward now to the rest of the championship. Obviously, you were able to walk away with the title in probably the most scuffed fashion I've ever seen in my life last season. Do you reckon you'll be able to go back-to-back for titles this season?
I mean, I think I probably. I mean, you never know. Gio's obviously insanely fast. The benefit of this is like we both run in that like whatever 86 league, so we get practice there. But Tyler's a great 86 driver. Then you get the other people that are just like generally fast. Ronenberg's fast in everything. Austin's fast in everything. Hammond's is quick. So I do think it will come down to making the right strategy calls, and not even talking about like making mistakes out of it, but with the random cautions, there are times that seems like it's the right choice until you see what happens. And then, like I said before, avoiding wrecks, especially with the inverted top field. We've seen people try to start in the back of races before and try to join Gio and I, and it hasn't turned out well. Judging, closing speeds and this and that. And so they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to work through the field. So I think I'm probably the favorite. Gio's right there with me. He's just as fast, if not faster than me, and damn near every car. But I would say one of us, and then the rest of them are nipping at our heels.
Well, we'll get set to see how things are going to line on up for the first points race of the season when we go racing next week, wherever that may be. Thank you for joining us up here tonight. Congratulations on the championship. We'll see if it'll be back-to-back in about 12 weeks' time.
Thanks, guys.
That was Alex Coffer joining us up here from Victory Lane. Man, coming out swinging tonight.
That was the best interview I've ever heard in my life.
It's up there. We'll bring up Nate Franklin, the driver that finished runner-up to Coffer here in this one, just a third of a second out. And Austin, you're standing by with one of our series rookies.
Hey, Nate, congratulations on the P2 finish, really showing your stuff here in the exhibition race tonight, and almost getting up to the back bumper of Coffer there on the last lap to try to make yourself a move. What more did you need to potentially make his interview a little bit worse? Because he came out here shooting shots in the interview, and I imagine if he didn't win, he wouldn't have been shooting so many shots.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I know Coffer well. He just got upper leg on me a little bit early in the race. I gave up some track position before the pit stops. I definitely got lucky, so I can't complain there. I was about to pit in right when the first caution flew. I think that was the difference. He just had a little bit of extra pace on me, and he might have caught a couple breaks in the traffic as well. But hey, that's racing, man. It was a good battle. I was really fortunate. Everyone raced me really clean tonight. It was a lot of fun. I had a blast in my preseason debut.
Yes, a great finish for you nonetheless. On the last lap, we were a little miffed that you didn't push Agostino down the back straightaway. Instead, you made the pass. Do you regret making that? Because I feel like you could have gained a good more chunk of time. Now, you still would have been in third getting down to the bus stop, so maybe that difference was big enough to matter to you because you were able to run him down afterwards. But I just felt like in that moment, if you bump drafted him, maybe you could have gotten a little bit closer to give yourself a shot. Like, were there any regrets in that, or do you think you made the right move down into the bus stop?
I think I had to go for the move. I didn't have enough fuel to really be able to push to get ahead of Cofford. I wasn't sure how much fuel he had left. At one point in the race, he told me, and he had a little bit more. So I was really trying to save aggressively before that, so I'd have extra on the last lap. And unfortunately, I had to push, to maintain my draft, just to be in third place to have a chance to get up to second. So, yeah, I think I got everything I could tonight. Cofford just had a little bit extra on me.
Well, Nate, big congratulations finishing second here tonight and really showing your stuff here in the exhibition. I imagine you're going to be someone to watch for through the regular season. What are your hopes for this season? First one in the beer league. Where are you hoping to end up in the championship standings at the end, or what's your benchmark?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to be fighting for race wins and out there, battling in the top three and having fun out there. I'd like to finish towards the top of the championship, but hey, if I know we've got some really, really quick guys in this league, and a lot of it's going to come down to the luck of the draw when these random cautions come out. As long as I'm fighting for wins and fighting for top fives, I'm content.
Well, Nate, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. Looking forward to seeing what you can do whenever there are points up for grabs.
Yep, thank you guys.
All right, big congrats to Nate Franklin. That was our second place finisher. Next up, Spinny Man Nolan Rimple is going to be interviewing our third place finisher, Tyler Agostino.
Tyler, I want to address something. what
What's
we
that?
are looking at on screen, was this you?
This is actually something I found. I heard some rumors that people were saying that it was actually the official paint of Green Flag TV. I can't confirm or deny those rumors, but that's what the people are saying.
That's the story you're going with, huh?
That's what I hear. I don't know what to tell you. Can only relay the facts as they're told to me.
I find it hilarious that it took us, 15 minutes where we realized it was my face on the hood and not yours.
Of course. I
But,
mean, honestly though, I made this as kind of a tribute to you guys. We really enjoy partnering up with you, and I understand that this is sometimes a very challenging league to broadcast with, and you guys do a great job every time, so much appreciated.
This is the most fun we broadcast with. This is the most fun one for me.
Yeah, for you. If as much of as an abomination it is, I am touched. Thank you, Tyler.
It's in the true beer league spirit.
It is. I cannot deny that. It is in true beer league spirit. But you come home third place at the end of the day. I know the beer league has always been going with a new car every season. What was the main contributing factor to send you guys back to a car you've already been running then for season number 7?
Rain, mostly. We really wanted a car that was going to be approachable and bring us some good racing, but also leave us open to, using some of the new Project Tempest features. So, I'm thrilled for it. This is my favorite car in the service. It's my best car by a long shot. So I'm excited for hopefully a season of decent finishes.
And of course, we look forward to the rest of the season. It's a big finish for you, showing you got a lot of strength. You were up there for much of this race. Are you going to be one of the title contenders in the season?
If I can get the strategy right, that's really what it comes down for me. I mean, I don't have just the raw pace that guys like Crawford and Gio have, but if I can put the dots together and get some decent strategy and keep some decent finishes, I don't know. I think I can snag a couple of podiums here and there. We'll see what happens from there.
All right, we'll get set to see them when we go racing next week. Tyler, as always, a pleasure to have you up here in the broadcast booth. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you for the opener next week.
Yeah, thank you both.
That was Tyler Augustino joining us in the broadcast booth from the number 3 position. And Austin, that takes us to the end of our show. My goodness, what a show. I think that's about how you can sum this race up. It doesn't get much more wild than that. Your final thoughts here as we get set to close things out from preseason.
Man, I'm ready to get the actual season started. If that's what it's going to be like all year, and we're going to maybe have some rain races mixed in there too, I think we're going to have a heck of a season here in the beer league. Every race that we call, like I said, this is my favorite one I do week in, week out. So I can't wait for the Wednesday nights, and I can't wait for the changes that we have here with the sprint race. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic the entire season.
It's going to be, no doubt, a season to remember as we'll get set to duke it out for about an hour and 15 minutes when we go racing next week on the Beer League. Don't know where we'll be, but wherever it is, I'm sure we'll have
Sebring Club.
Please no. Wait, really?
I'm being serious.
Is it really?
They spun in the general chat. Sebring Club is what I saw, 31% fuel, I believe.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Well, you know where we're going to be. It'll be down in Florida. Whatever. You know what? Having a race in Florida to kick off Beer League at a really tight track like that's about on par. It's going to be what you'd expect from the Beer League when we go racing on Wednesday nights once again. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night for the Speed Tires Plus Cup Series as they continue on in their Thursday night program, getting ever closer. Only 3 races to the chase for the Tires Plus Cup. We'll be racing at the Monster Mile next week. My name is Noel Rempo, alongside Austin Edstrom. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week when we go racing in the Sunshine State.